Hi YouTube family, my name is Ro. I am documenting my VSG journey. This is my first video, yay! So I just wanted to come on and to start learning to pretty much vlog and keep myself accountable and make sure that I'm doing what I need to do. So this is the way I'm going to do that. I did have a diary, but sometimes I just get tired of writing, and I've got a lot of people that I follow in the YouTube community as well as on Facebook, so I said, hey, why not go ahead and give this a try? So what I'm going to do is just pretty much introduce myself. So again, I am doing this VSG journal or vlog to tell you about everything that's been happening and where I am today. So my current weight is 233. I started this journey, I actually started back in about 2008. I had seen a doctor after many battles with my primary care who didn't want me to do any type of surgery. And excuse me, my voice is a little raspy just from I've already had surgery and it's still a little rough. But basically, the doctor that I was seeing, I wanted to have the lap band and they didn't want me to have the band. And I decided that they wanted me to have the R&Y gastric bypass, and that was something that I didn't want at the time. I was concerned about really the whole rerouting of the intestines, and it kind of freaked me out. So I had a lot of coworkers at the time who had it, and they had a lot of problems with things like the malabsorption, depression, just stress. I had an aunt who had the lap band. She had that in about 2009 or 10. Completely successful, has still maintained her weight till this time. She's only gained, she said, 20 pounds regain. So it was something that I was, very hopeful for. So at that time, it was only 3 months of a pre-op journey, but again, the surgeon that I was looking into was really adamant about no, he really wanted his patients to do R&Y. So I decided that even after losing 50 pounds in the pre-op phase and then finding out that I had to do more, I did the psych evals, I did everything that you had to do. The one thing at the time is that you had to follow up with your primary care every month, and that was something that they didn't tell me. You pretty much had to do a weigh-in. Well, my doctor had done my weight forever, and I've had my doctor for about 12 years, and so she knew my ups and downs with weight, had put me on things like phentermine, just all kinds of different medications. And so none of those things worked. I opted out of surgery, out of the R&Y, and said, I'll wait, I'll try it on my own, see what else I can do. And it turned out that, I kind of just still was stumbling. I was later diagnosed with PCOS, which has all kinds of lovely complications with that diagnosis, including the weight gain, and it comes on and stays on pretty rapidly. Well, I'm 40 years old this year, and, I have or had high blood pressure, pre-diabetic, the PCOS, and I have a family, and I had to think to myself, I was working a very stressful job, and things were just, my health was just deteriorating. So I decided that this year I'm going to go ahead and I was going to look into surgery again. So I talked to my primary care again. She referred me, and she actually referred me back in October of 2014, but I was so hesitant and scared that I just wasn't sure. So when I got really sick in February, my blood pressure, my asthma, everything was just out of control. And I just felt like, honestly, that I wasn't going to live long if I didn't do something. So I went ahead and I talked to her again and I said, can you go ahead and give me that number? So I was referred, I was a Sutter patient, or Sutter, I had Sutter, was my hospital, and my doctor was with Sutter. So I decided that, and I'm from Sacramento, so I decided that what I was going to do was go ahead and see what they were talking about. So I went to what was called a bariatrician, who basically told me I had a 6-month pre-op phase, and then I also had to meet with a surgeon, have a psych eval, and meet with a dietitian monthly. So every month I would go in and have my blood pressure checked, my weight checked, and see what I was eating, journal what I was eating, and go from there. So I met with the surgeon, and I had been researching on the sleeve, and I really had watched, this is when I really started watching a lot of YouTube videos and looking at lap band sleeve bypass, and to see what I really needed to do. Well, the sleeve, to me, I was okay with. I've had my gallbladder removed, so what else? I've had, I really didn't care about having part of my stomach removed. It didn't scare me as much. I'm one that I like medical things, so I watched the videos online. My surgeon was is Dr. Benjamin Shadle, with Sacramento BMI, and he was great. He actually met with me early on. So late March, sorry, my phone may die. Hopefully not. But late on in the process, or early on in the process, I met with him, and he said, if that's what you want to do. So my highest weight was 283 when I started. I worked out, and I've always been one that I've actively liked to work out. Just with PCOS and my other issues, I could not lose the weight without something to help me manage my eating. I love food. I love to cook. I love to bake. But I had to figure out, okay, which is more important, my health or my baking? Well, of course, I have a family. I have children that need me and their mommy, and I have a husband that I love. So, and I love myself. So I had to, cut out some of those things during this process. I still baked once a month. Instead of once every week, and which is good for my family because they had to learn to lose weight. Now my husband, he's a workout freak. He does bodybuilding. He watches YouTube. He works my nerve. But he was my biggest motivation, and he got me into the gym with him regularly. So by the time I actually had surgery, I was actively losing, 3 to 5 pounds every month. So by the time I actually had surgery on November 9th, I was 239. So I had lost, quite a bit of weight, which was great. My surgery went perfect to me. I was in there. I was ready to go home that same day, but of course they make you stay overnight. And I barely took any pain medication. I got up and walked. I walked in the middle of the night when patients weren't on the floor. I walked, just because I felt good enough. And that's probably because you're on the hospital medication as well as all the medications that you would take when you go home. Well, I got home. Everything still was super. And a few days later, I had to start eating things like cream of wheat. Well, I don't like cream of wheat. It's gross to me. But that's what they wanted me to start. So I started cream of wheat. I really didn't, eat it at all. I actually kept with my protein. I like to drink Isopure. I had to take these lovely, my 2-week pre-op was fantastic. I had no problems even doing the 2 weeks. And just to show you what I had to drink, my doctor or my surgeon requires that you drink this vanilla or chocolate or caramel. It's called New Direction Weight Control System. So you're drinking 4 shakes a day that are roughly, let me see what the 200 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 26 grams of protein, 10 carbs, and that's every day or for 2 weeks, just those shakes. You could also have water, Crystallite, clear fluids like Isopure if you wanted to add that in, but the primary drink was those shakes. So, and excuse me, I'm still new at this. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be looking at the camera. I think I'm supposed to be looking up here, but I hope so. But I'm not sure. So when I look at the video, we'll see, but I'm not going to edit it and change it, and I'm just going to post it and go from there. So yeah, so the first week was pretty much fine home. I didn't have any incision pain. I didn't have any type of pain. I still was able to get up and walk. Well, moving into week 2, you're supposed to have things like 1 egg, scrambled soft. You can have applesauce, yogurt, things like that. Well, the food, I have no hunger sensation at all. Not at all. And excuse my hair. Ooh. But I have no hunger sensation at all. And I just have to remember, I had to actually put in my phone at times that it would go off to tell me to eat, because I would be sleeping. I'm home, so I don't have to work right now, and I don't know when I'm hungry. I barely know when I'm thirsty. I have so much energy. I'm able to go to the store. I'm able to drive on my own. But now I'm going into my 3rd week, and I've started to have a lot of pain at the top. Now, during my surgery, he did have to repair a hiatal hernia in my, he said he had to put some stitches in my diaphragm. And for anybody that doesn't know what that is, my version is, he said that there's a hole in close to my esophagus or diaphragm, and my stomach was pushing up through there, which I had always had some pain, but I didn't know what that was, and that's what he explained to me. So since he's fixed that, I don't have that pain. Like when I would sneeze and I would be driving and sitting in a position, I would literally have to pull over because the pain would be so bad. So apparently that was what was happening, is that that hernia was getting worse. And he explained that basically my stomach was pushing up through that hole, and until it contracted and the contraction released, I didn't have any relief. So he repaired that. And I felt fine, but it's still hard to drink. It's still hard to, today, the last 2 days, I've been able to get more fluid in. I've been able to get fluid in pretty much regularly, drinking a lot of broth. Broth was basically the savior for me to get that water intake, because it was warm. And I think that the sodium in the broth was helping me to keep my energy and not have me feel too dehydrated. My Isopures are 40 grams of protein. I get the bottled one versus the powder. I also like the Centrax Nectar. I got the, I believe, Fuzzy Navel. That was okay. I tried the, I have quite a few of them because, again, I used to work out like regularly. Even before all this happened, I would go for at least a 2-mile walk like every day with my husband during my pre-op phase and, you know, the 6 months. And I would go to the gym. I like to lift weights. That's my big thing, is hanging with my husband, I became a weight lifter. I love it. But I really can't do it now. So I have a 6-week restriction for doing that. But that's where I'm at. So I actually see my surgeon tomorrow. I followed up with my dietitian yesterday. The biggest thing that I had, TMI moment, constipation. They told me not to take my iron because that's something that constipates you. But really, the biggest issue for me is I've had like kind of right under the breastbone, the breast area, going into the chest or the stomach area, so much tightening that if you're a woman and you've had kids, you know, or not had kids, but it feels like it's a contraction. And I don't know if it's just the stomach trying to loosen up. It hurts, you know, when I'm driving, when I'm sitting. And it just started like 3 days ago. And it's like the worst pain ever. So I was one that I really didn't like to take my pain medicine, but for the last 2 days, I've had to take pain medicine. And all this time, I really didn't take it. I only kind of took it at night, just to kind of help me sleep. But that's where I'm at. So this video is getting a little longer than I thought, but I do want to go over really quickly the things that I am taking, just so that anybody that is going through this as well knows, you know. Some people, I follow a lot of people on YouTube, and I'm a part of a lot of support groups, and I noticed that everybody's journey is different. So excuse, you know, what I do may not be the same that you do, or, you know, that you're doing, or what your surgeon, you know, advised, and that's okay. But for somebody that, and I'm just going to say it, somebody that maybe went to Mexico that didn't get the whole pre-op experience or the post-op experience, what I plan to do with my YouTube channel is just kind of go over what, you know, I'm doing every so often. I'll do a vlog and kind of tell you where I'm at and, you know, what I'm doing to get my weight down and keep my weight down and just go from there. But just so that you know, I'm not going to show you the labels, but for post-op for medications, which was weird. I have some other people that I follow and that I talk to on Facebook support groups, and they told me they didn't get these things, which I'm glad my doctor did give them to me. But so one of the things is a antacid that I'm supposed to take for 30 days. Every morning I try to take that. I also was provided a stool softener. So, but that, believe me, is not helping with the constipation. And my dietitian did say it's probably because I don't have enough food to process, and I'm only getting liquid, which, TMI, my urine output is okay. I did receive a dissolvable, on your tongue every 8 hours, a nausea and vomiting. And I've had no vomiting until yesterday, where I think I drank too much in my little sitting, and I think I swallowed it. And luckily I was right at the sink, and it just came right back out. There was like no stopping it. So I'm glad this wasn't out in public, but that's what happened. And then I was also given some, what's the equivalent, I guess, of Norco, so for pain. Now, vitamins, I can show you those. I'm taking, again, they did tell me to take a multivitamin, so I take a chewable. It's not the Celebrate brand. It's not that great tasting. I got the mandarin orange, and I was like, it's okay, but it's pretty disgusting. Especially when it just dissolves. I just kind of stick it on my tongue, let it try to dissolve, and then chew it. These vitamins were all provided and a requirement from my doctor for the first 30 days. Now, I did buy another when I went yesterday. I do like the calcium chews. I have to take these 3 chews a day, morning, afternoon, and night. And then I was prescribed an iron plus vitamin C. So this is a chewable. It was berry, but I haven't tried that yet. And yesterday I knew that I've had issues with iron and anemia before. So I went ahead and I picked up another bottle because I don't see them for another 2 months. So I picked that up. I won't continue with the multivitamins from that brand, but the calcium I will. I did like that one, so I picked up another bag of that. But the iron, vitamin C, I also got grape. So I can try both of those and see how I like those. But I'm supposed to take one of those a day. And then a lot of people have all said, you know, try biotin for hair loss, because I guess that starts about 3 months or so. Well, I'd always taken biotin and just different vitamins just to keep healthy, or try to keep healthy. And then I picked up a B6, B12 vitamin that you place underneath your tongue at Trader Joe's. So that's pretty good. And then I'm also one that I was concerned about hair and healthiness, and I take a vitamin E tablet as well. So those are the things that I'm pretty much taking to get myself healthy. But at this point, this video is 20 minutes long. It is my first video, so I do apologize. I want to make my videos pretty much going forward no longer than 10 minutes. But what I do promise you is, if you want to comment, go ahead and comment. I will respond. Please be kind. This is my journey. I'm just trying to share what I'm going through, and, you know, hopefully help somebody. But I want to just kind of have something to look back on, look back on for myself, to kind of keep me accountable going forward. I'm, you know, want to see where I go and what happens to me in the future. So, comment. If you want to subscribe, you can. But I will continue to follow my other YouTube friends, and I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully try to do another video maybe next week. I want to tell everyone, if you celebrate the holidays, happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. I will get maybe some mashed potatoes on Thursday, and I have been able to eat a little bit of like canned meat, and I did have some baked chicken that I kind of softened up a little bit more, so the dietitian did tell me that that was okay. She really thought it was a little too soon, but she said it was okay since I was able to get it down. So I hopefully can get maybe a piece of turkey. And I mean piece of turkey. So other than that, that's all I want to say today. But again, thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I love you guys. I love YouTube. Have a great day.